want you to hit me as hard as you can.
Hey everybody, it's Chris Bummer here again for JoBlo, just out of the Cinemacon presentation for Warner Brothers. Of course, the big reveal was The Matrix 4, or as we can now officially report, The Matrix Resurrections. But there was also some other cool stuff that I thought I'd share with you right now. So, people are talking about the Batman, and they didn't show a heck of a lot of new footage. What they did was they played the first trailer that's been around a year since last DC Fandom again, which was great to see on the big screen because I've actually never seen it theatrically before, and it looks amazing. I'm sure that we're going to get a full new trailer probably at DC Fandom this year in October. I think it's October 15th. But what they did show was a behind-the-scenes featurette that talked a little bit about Matt Reeves and Robert Pattinson's approach to the character. So what they want everybody to know is that it's gritty and grounded. This is probably going to be the most realistic Batman movie ever made. And we got a look at kind of Pattinson's new kind of bat suit with some armor built in, to really bring home the fact that he's a mortal man that's protecting himself. I think it was kind of a cool little reveal. Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman, we see a little bit of footage of her basically as a cat burglar. We got to see Andy Serkis as Alfred, and he looks really kind of polished and badass, much younger than Michael Caine's Alfred or any other Alfred I think that we've seen in any of the Batman movies. Hard to say much else, though, about what we saw because it wasn't a heck of a lot of new footage. But like I said, DC Fandom in October, we're going to see a lot about the Batman and probably every other DC movie, with them mentioning during the presentation that they've got 5 DC movies coming out. So, moving on past the Batman and DC, I think probably the most noteworthy thing that we saw was the first maybe 5 minutes or so of the Many Saints of Newark, which of course is the prequel to The Sopranos. One thing that they revealed that I thought was really cool is that the movie is narrated by Michael Imperioli as Christopher, who of course was killed by Tony Soprano. And there's this great scene where he's introducing Tony Soprano's character and he's like, yeah, the little fat one is Tony Soprano. He strangled me. So it's kind of this amazing looking movie, I think. I mean, I love The Sopranos, one of my favorite shows of all time. I didn't want them to stop playing the movie after the first 5 minutes, but, it was just the tease. And immediately after, the teaser was over, they went to the logo, which is done in the Soprano style with that great song, Woke Up This Morning, with the bass going. Man, whenever my cat would hear this song, he would just go crazy because I used to watch it all the time and he knew that, it was time to cuddle and watch The Sopranos. He would just immediately come to the room. They also showed a bit of footage from Cry Macho, not much more beyond what we saw in the trailer, but it started off with this kind of really nice tribute to Clint Eastwood as a director. And what I thought was really cool was when they were going through the talking heads, you actually saw Gene Hackman. Now, Gene Hackman has been kind of MIA since he retired like 15 years ago. I don't know if this was new footage, but he looked significantly older than he did last time we saw him, but still pretty good. And he was talking about Clint Eastwood just in a tiny little clip. And to me, like as a geek, that was cool seeing Gene Hackman on screen again. Eastwood, he's still going at it, 91 years old. Cry Macho looks really good. They were all talking about how it's the first Western that he's done since Unforgiven, although of course it's not really a traditional Western. It's a contemporary Western, and I don't think there's any gunfights. I'm not expecting another Unforgiven, but it does look like a pretty good Clint Eastwood movie. From there, we saw a little bit of footage for Dune, which actually I already kind of covered for the website because what they showed was the spice harvesting sequence where Leto and Paul and Gurney kind of rescue the miners. I described this pretty much at length in my original report on the footage from Montreal a couple months ago. They also showed us the trailer, which came out, about a month ago, the same trailer, which they said was a new trailer, but it wasn't. It was actually the old trailer. Dune, it's going to premiere in Venice probably in a couple of weeks. And I mean, I think they know that they've got an amazing movie coming out. It's too bad that a lot of people are probably going to watch it on HBO Max because, man, does it deserve to be seen theatrically. Otherwise, we got a little bit of footage of Malignant, the new James Wan movie. They kind of revealed that the influence for this is Dario Argento and Giallo movies, which is really cool because I didn't put that together before when I saw the first trailer. But yeah, definitely with the use of primary colors on Annabelle Wallis. Looks like a scary movie, and Juan said in kind of his little piece for it that he really wanted to make something original again. He didn't want to just do sequels, and he wanted to push the envelope. And it looks like Malignant is going to be a pretty scary movie, and I'm pretty psyched to see what James Wan does with it because, I mean, I'm a big fan of his, of course, as is everybody. Otherwise, we also saw the trailer for King Richard with Will Smith. I think this is probably going to be his Oscar movie, which is, of course, about the Venus and Serena Williams, and their father and his drive to make them champions. Didn't see much more footage beyond what we saw in the trailer, but Smith's performance looks like it's great. And I would not be surprised if he got nominated for an Oscar this year. I think this is their big kind of Oscar caliber push. So I'm excited to see this movie. It definitely looks interesting. Overall, though, a very good presentation. The show was stolen, of course, by The Matrix Resurrections. How could it not be? But overall, it looks like Warner Brothers has got a pretty serious slate coming out. They're going back to full theatrical in 2022, maybe earlier, who knows. They definitely told all the exhibitors that were there at Cinemacon that they're planning on really, really championing theatrical releases. And they did say something that's kind of interesting. Of all the studios, they're the ones that have put out the most movies during the pandemic. I mean, right back to Tenet, they made a big swing by putting that movie out exclusively in theaters. They did, of course, make the very unpopular decision to put all their films simultaneous in theaters and on HBO Max. But, you know, some of them actually really made money. Godzilla vs. Kong was perhaps the first big hit, you know, of the post-pandemic era. And, you know, Mortal Kombat did pretty well. The Suicide Squad didn't do particularly well, but, you know, I think people are watching on HBO Max, and definitely creatively it was a good movie. So, you know, when theaters were kind of dying, Warner Brothers was still churning out product. So, you know, you got to give them some respect there, despite how controversial the move to simultaneously debut things on HBO Max is. Anyway, that's what I got from the Warner Brothers presentation. It was pretty awesome, and of course, we'll be back from Cinemacon with a lot more news coming out later this week.